as much as we say this is the greatest country in the world, it's the greatest country in the world for certain people. For most people, this isn't the greatest country in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at me.
Benchmark, they're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They glare the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow.
I ain't seen from now. But I was really, trying to tell you.
Benchmark Podcast. What's up, bro?
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT Podcast. We are back in person, full squad. We got a lot to talk about tonight. But this first episode, with heavy hearts, we're going to have to talk about everything that's happening in this country as of late specifically. But it's been going on for a very long time. But before we get into that, of course, do our introductions and letting y'all know who's on the show and how everybody's doing. So, Greg, Mr. Hot Takes. The Bench Mother says, Mir, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I mean, as well as you can be under these circumstances. That's what I put.
CJ, Moneybags, how you living?
I'm alright, man. You know, like you said it perfectly when you got heavy hearts. So, you know, we dive into the conversation and go from there.
Miles, how you living?
I'm alright.
So, if y'all don't know, for the reason that y'all wouldn't know this, we had 2 mass shootings in the last 2 weeks. Buffalo, which was a situation that was different from the one yesterday, where it was literally a race situation. Black people, people of color were targeted. Then yesterday, a shooting where a place that you would not expect it, that you would not want, a school where if anywhere you should be able to send your children to be safe, it should be school. So I'm gonna start off with like my reactions and my viewpoints on everything that's happened. Simply put, at this point, it kind of puts me in a situation where it's like it's speechless. This continues to happen. Staggering numbers every time it comes, things like this happen. We get the situation happens. We get the viral video of somebody eloquently explaining it, like Steve Kerr. We get the stats that come out, the pictures that show all the crazy stats. Like 222 mass shootings has happened this year, and it's only on day 144. It's such a terrible thing that happened in this country. As much as we say this is the greatest country in the world, it's the greatest country in the world for certain people. For most people, this isn't the greatest country in the world. And it puts me in a position where I don't really have the words. I don't know what could be done. The only thing I know I can do at this point, I pray for the people that make the decisions regarding the guns. I pray for the people that are involved. I pray for the families. How I believe the Bible says certain things come by prayer and fasting. In this situation, that's all I can do. I pray, I fast. I pray, I fast. I'm a strong believer that prayer still works. I've seen stuff this week in my family that only was God, and that was literally because of prayer. So when will things change? Who knows? What needs to be done to change things? We kind of know what needs to be done, but the thing is, the people that have the power to make these decisions aren't making these changes. So it puts me, everybody else gonna have their piece. It puts me in a situation of I'm kind of like speechless. Like it's the same cycle. Same cycle when it comes to mass shootings, when it comes to Black lives actually mattering. Like this country is in such shambles, it doesn't make sense. You can literally get a gun with no problem, like you're getting a pack of gum, but you got mothers out here struggling to get baby formula. We're low on baby formula, but we got guns galore. I'm gonna pass it to whoever wanna step up and speak on how this has affected them, where has it put them mentally, and everything that's been going on.
I mean, like you said, I read somewhere that it's easier to get a gun in this country than it is to actually rent a car from wherever you want to rent a car. Like, the gun laws allow you to get a gun at 18, but you got to be 25 to rent a car, which is, I saw that and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, we've all been on this earth for almost 30 years, so we've heard of the Columbine story. That was years ago, and that was bad. That one was bad. And then graduating high school 10 years ago, one in Connecticut, Sandy Hook. That happened, and that was the largest shooting in an elementary school ever. And then now we have this one this year. It's just like, when does it end? When does it stop? Because just, if you're a parent, how do you feel comfortable sending your kids to school when, like, I'm sure some of those parents didn't see that coming at all. Like, it's just tough. Like, you just see so many times where these parents send their kids to school, and the next time they see them is in a morgue, where, like, no parent should be burying their child. So, I mean, it's tough for me to even talk about it, because when I think about it, I think of my own kid, and now it's just bringing up thoughts like when I send him to school, like, I hug him a lot tighter than I usually do sometimes. It's like, what if I don't actually see him, like, in his lively form again? It's one of those things where, like, now we have to think about it. We got to prepare our kids for these moments. And I mean, I don't know what else the schools can do, because it's not like they're going to have armed guards and a lot of security at these elementary schools. Because, these are young kids. You'd think that this is a safe place, but I mean, maybe you need to have somebody out there armed, which is kind of crazy. Because this is like, elementary kids represent the innocence in all of us. Like, that was when we were at our most innocent. Like, not affected by politics, not affected by racism. We're just living and breathing and enjoying life. And for somebody to come out here and just don't even know these kids, you just kill them, and they didn't get to live their lives yet. It's like, it's tough.
Senseless, man. I mean, Tony and I were talking earlier before y'all got here, and we were talking about, like, when we were kids, right? The worst thing that we had to do or worry about before we came home was, we were outside playing manhunt, right? And the worst thing we had to worry about was being home before the streetlights came on. And now these kids have to worry about, like, if I go to school the next day, am I going to come home? It's a crazy thing to think about, where school, like we said, school's supposed to be the safest place for these kids, and to have parents worry about sending their kids to school, not knowing if they're going to be able to pick their kids up from school that day is gut-wrenching. It's heartbreaking. It's all of those things, and there's something to be said about gun legislation and policy changes in terms of making it harder for people to get guns. That is not the entire answer in terms of that's going to prevent all this in changing, but it's a start. And I'm going to tell you guys a story because I'm a gun owner, right? So I'm going to tell you the story of how easy it was for me to purchase a gun and get approved for a gun. When I was, this is last year, I wanted to get my gun covered so I can go to the range and shoot, and again, just have a gun for that purpose, go to the range and be able to shoot it. And when I tell you the application to purchase or to get approved for my permit was easier than applying for a job, like I mean it. I didn't have to write a cover letter. I didn't have to, answer a bunch of screening questions. There was a few questions that you had to answer. And the questions, pretty much involved, talking about, have you ever been admitted to a psych facility or anything like that? And they're just like yes or no questions, multiple choice, boom, 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 just click it on them. And then at the end of it, all you do is select a local facility of where you're going to go get your fingerprints done, right? And for me, someone that's never been in the system and, never been convicted of a crime or anything like that, I was approved within 4 weeks, and was able to go purchase my first gun. Like, that's what I feel like part of the problem is. It shouldn't be that easy. Not one call did I get in terms of an interview about, just talking to me about my past, medical history, anything. Like, it just seemed insane to me that you would take computer answers from someone that you never looked at and never talked to and said, okay, yep, you're approved for a gun. We talk about Columbine. We talk about Sandy Hook. We talk about Parkland in 2018 in Florida. And there's been more in between those that I'm missing. But it's just so sad to think about what these families continue to go through and not feeling hope. I think about how the Sandy Hook parents and families feel. When that happened, you thought there would be change, right? There's been teachings on how to make schools safer and arm our schools, and we talk about employing armed security guards and what have you, the school resource officers, right, that are armed. And all these measures are in place. You saw how the world reacted when 9/11 happened, and we immediately changed how airports operated, right? But these mass school shootings continue to happen, and we're just looking the people of power are looking the other way because they want to continue to hold that power. Because let's face it, the NRA donates money to these senators' campaigns. Vice versa, they're donating money to the NRA. So it's just insane that we're still talking about this after years of
2022.
deaths. Yeah.
In 2022, we're still having this conversation. And the part that's the most frustrating is we're having the exact same conversation. Like, I'm pretty sure you can find an episode on ABC 7 and they're having the same exact conversation. Everything we're saying now. We got to change this. The NRA has too much power. We got to do this. It's crazy we can't send our kids to school. We don't know if they're going to come home. We don't know, in general, we can't go to a place of worship. We can't go to a supermarket. We can't, and then on the other flip side of it too, we can't be free enough to be like, all right, in 2022, we shouldn't have to worry about the color of people's skin being targeted for shootings. We shouldn't have to think about kids, elementary kids, that represent innocence being targeted in 2022. America, it isn't the greatest country in the world. For some people, it is. But for most people, this ain't the greatest country in the world. When you look at the stats of seeing no other country in the world has hit double digits in mass shootings this year. The closest country got 8. We at 222. No other country in the world has double digits. We're the greatest country in the world.
We're not even 6 months into the year.
I digress.
When you talking last is tough because you got to say a lot of things that I would have said in the very beginning. But I don't know. I mean, I feel horrible, but I feel horrible in saying. But I'm also about to say too, where there's just this numbness because I'm really used to this. When that headline came across the TV and I'd seen it and it was on Twitter and everything, there was no shock at all for me. At all. I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh, where did it happen? Oh, yeah, it sounds about right. Okay, like, what happened? Oh, yeah, not surprised. Like, that could happen any given day. I mean, you would have a hard time asking yourself where people haven't gotten shot in this country than where people have. People got shot in supermarkets, people got shot in movie theaters, people got shot. It's unspeakable, okay? Concerts, whatever. Like, all types of crazy stuff happen every day. And it all goes back to one simple thing. I mean, for me, when I heard this story, okay, like, yeah, the NRA donates a lot of money to Republican campaigns because we don't call it what it is, because that's really what it is. And it's not. It shouldn't be a political thing, but it just is, and we can't talk about this without talking about politics. But it's money is the root of all evil. If you look at it that way, right? Because money at the end of the day is pulling the strings, and that's why we're talking about the same stuff. We're talking about reeling back the purchases of guns. Not even this like that, but just making sure it's not as easy for people to buy it. Making sure that if you're going to sell a gun to somebody, that there's someone who's sane, right? Which, by the way, to me, I think it's flawed because someone can be sane today and insane tomorrow. They don't, someone can be sane today and their girlfriend break up with them, or their girlfriend go cheat with their best friend, and now all of a sudden they're insane. They're going to do something crazy off the wall. So I don't even agree with that ideology. Okay, the reality is a couple things. For one, I've been in Texas numerous times. Okay, gun culture down this big. Yeah, I walk into a Dick's Sporting Goods for the mature people, and I walk in there and I see an AK-47 hanging on the wall. I see a rifle, a crazy rifle hanging on the wall. You can go buy that junk. You can buy it. You walk in and out. So, it's crazy. Like, it's too easy for people to get weapons of mass destruction these days. And quite frankly, I mean, I think we can all admit that we don't trust society enough. Do we trust society with anything? Seriously, do we trust people with anything? You don't trust both people with your kids. You don't trust both people with belonging of yours that matters to you. And you're going to trust people with a gun, a weapon of mass destruction that can mow people down? What did you think was going to happen? And why are we surprised this happens? There's no surprise at all. And I'm not saying anyone's surprised, but it's the same conversation. It falls on deaf ears. And I'm tired of all right, we'll go for it at the grassroots level thing. Like, I'm tired of it. Frankly, I am. Where I'm at now, I'm in a place right now where I question democracy. Is this even a democracy? Honestly, is it? Because I think most people are in agreement that there should be tighter gun restrictions, tighter gun laws in place to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. I think anyone with 2 brain cells understands that, right? People who actually would talk to will admit that. Okay, not the crazy people that you're reading tweets from. But at the end of the day, the opinions of the majority doesn't matter. And isn't that the whole point of democracy? Shouldn't the opinions of the majority matter? But it doesn't. What matters is whose pockets are getting filled up top by what organization, right? And what their best interests are. And that's it. So it kind of feels like we're running this hopeless race. I'm being real. I guess it feels like we're running a really hopeless race because what's going to change? What exactly is going to change? You want to put armed guards in school? Then go ahead. Let's do that in urban neighborhoods. Let's see how it goes. We'll have a whole different problem on our hands. I don't got to go too specific. We already know what it is. Because we already seen that movie before. Like, what are we talking about? And plus, we have that in place in certain schools. I have security guards in my school. And I know schools in certain areas, you have metal detectors you walking through every day. What does that really stop? Crazy stuff still happens all the time. Like, the reality is that the world is the way the world is because people up top in positions of power who have put themselves in these positions, right? They don't care that it's the way it is because they're still benefiting off of everything that's happening. They benefit. They're benefiting off of the deaths.
Those are the people that you mentioned. America's the greatest country in the world.
They'll be the first one to tell you that.
America's the greatest country in the world. And I'm on the same page with you, bro. It really puts, like I said, this is the end of the show. It puts you in this position of this like speechlessness. Like, what else can be said? What else needs to be said that hasn't been said? Our parents have been having this conversation when they were kids. Their parents have been having this conversation.
Bro, think about why we're having a conversation too. We have this conversation about there's two polarizing sides of it. One side's like, don't take away my Second Amendment right, guns this, guns that. This country has a really weird obsession with guns. And then the other side's like, we just want to restrict it. Okay? Like, we can't have y'all walking around here with AK-47s at the least. We don't even know why you need a gun in the first place. But fine, you want a gun for amusement, whatever. You want to go out in the woods and shoot some frisbee, beer caps, whatever. Cool. But think about how polarizing that is. Whenever things are polarizing, what happens? It drives up the market for whatever you're fighting about. When you tell people they can't have something, what do they want? What you say they can't have. So you think it's a coincidence that now we have these crazy people out here trying to get AK-47, trying to get sniper rifles and all that crazy stuff? No. It's all driven by the NRA. It's perfect marketing for the NRA. These conversations, when these things happen, it's like a commercial for the NRA. When Sandy Hook happens, when what happened yesterday happens at the school in Texas, it's a commercial for the NRA. Oh, free marketing, commercial, cool. We will have the crazy people that we sell to in middle America going out there and buying guns. Because y'all tell them they can't have it now, which means they want it more. Just in case, everyone has this irrational fear that they're gonna need a strap for some reason. Like everybody got ops all of a sudden. That's what we're talking about. Like, that's a sick game we're playing. It's sick. It's sick. But I don't know. Look, I don't know what the solution is. The only solution there really is God. I'm being honest. If we're being real about it, son, for real, like, what are we gonna talk about? What man is gonna change this? Seriously, what men are gonna change this? Nothing. There's no amount of loss that matters. They didn't draw the line when Sandy Hook happened. When they were putting bullet holes in 5-year-olds in Connecticut, it didn't change the gun laws then. You think it's gonna change tomorrow? No way. It's not going anywhere. It's really crazy. Like, you might want to homeschool your kids. That's what we're talking about now. It's a crazy time to be alive. It really is. The country has no moral compass. There's no. Biden tweeted yesterday that, when is enough enough? You're the president, my guy. What do you mean?
Right.
That's him tweeting that too, and people in power saying that. It's really insensitive to me because, like, you have the power to make it be to the point where enough is enough. You have, like, I get we're a democracy, but I think it's situations like this is like, all right, now we'll put my foot down. We're passing the law. I will veto it. You can deal with that. Y'all can hate me. Y'all can vote me out of office after this. But this is where sometimes we're like, all right, we always not minding our business and going to these other countries to produce democracy, to get more money because the love of money is the root of all evil. We're doing that. Don't never take care of what the problem is at home. But some of these countries, they low-key be better off when it's just somebody that's making all the rules like, yo, this is what the rule is. I run this. This is how we do it. Because then when you get all these other people involved, all these other opinions, now you're talking about you not 2%. You got the one person, let it go. You got the other person, I think we should restrict it. Mm-hmm. Now we just back and forth, going back and forth, doing votes, not voting, not passing nothing. Oh, and the people that, hey, you want to restrict it, but there's money involved. If I can put a little money in your pocket, I'll be quiet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, democracy is tainted. It's not really a democracy. It's about where the money's at. The money trail. Follow the money trail. The money trail is the NRA. They're putting money on politicians' pockets. So guess what they're not going to do? They're not going to pass that bill that's sitting in the Senate, that's been sitting there for 4-5 years, however long it's been there on that table. They're not going to pass it because the money's there already. So how can we say it's democracy?
And that's why you see these senators too, like putting on a facade on Twitter, and when they speak in front of the cameras and the media, right? You got Mitch McConnell talking about him and his wife grieving for the lost ones and how this is such a tragedy and enough is enough. But yet you donated $13 million to the NRA, and you have donated $13 million to the NRA, and you're the same guy that's supporting people buying more guns, like Governor Abbott for Texas. He basically
he's terrible.
He over here talking about the same thing, talking about we're so sad for the families that lost loved ones today in this senseless killing, right?
It could have been worse.
But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, he's also the same guy that previously tweeted, "We're
number 2.
We're number 2 behind the state of California. I'm embarrassed. Texans pick it up for gun sales." Like, so now you're promoting people to buy guns without doing these essential background.
What I just said. I said that when these things happen, it's a perfect opportunity for the NRA to get some free pub. What did he do? He went out there and gave the NRA free pub. He got a free commercial ad for them by with that tweet. That's what I'm saying. Like, this stuff is by design, bro. It's not a mistake.
They're having a conference this week, too.
They have a conference in Houston this week. Trump, all them dudes going to be there. All the Republicans dudes going to be there. Bro, it's all strategic. All this stuff is good for business. As crazy as I sound saying it, I'm looking at just think about it from the NRA's perspective, not mine, obviously, guys. It's horrible. I was dropping that bomb on the damn podcast. It's horrible. But at the end, you know what I mean? Like, it's free pub for these guys. That's all it is. It's just free marketing.
The crazy thing with it, too, and you mentioned this. At this point, this country just needs a lot of help. We say we're built on Christian values, and we're built on doing things with God, and every year this country is doing something to take God out the equation. At this point, like how I view it, like, bro, let's just let us as a country take God's name out of this, bro. Y'all want to take him out the schools, take him out the schools, take him out the money, and God we trust because y'all don't. This country has been corrupted from day one. What they did to the Native Americans. No way in the world you do stuff like that and then think that things is going to work out. Even if you don't believe in God. Some of y'all believe in karma and stuff like you think. What you think America karma like? Think about that. Even if you don't believe in God. A lot of people believe in karma. What do you think America karma is like? All the stuff we do to these other countries, all the stuff we do to the people that's here, the amount of people that's homeless here, and the money that we choose not to fix those type of situations, but we got money to send, and no disrespect, what they're going through is tough. But we could send $76 million, $24 million to Ukraine. That's what we could do with our money here in this country. We in debt as a country, but we can help every country out in the world.
But it's people. $53 million to Ukraine.
$53 million. And it's people still that we can go.
$53 billion?
Million. We can still.
It was more than
Yeah, right. Assumption.
We can still though, but this is my point. Because we can go South Orange, not so much on where we live at. South Orange, Montclair, North. We could literally find 10 people that's homeless right now. But we helping out a whole another country. We got still issues with race in this country. We still have issues with race.
It's not solved. That issue's not solved on purpose.
Of course, I'm just saying, like,
you can read the
this
lines.
This country is so far from anything dealing with God, and you don't think when stuff happened like Katrina that's not because of the crap that we did. You don't think, like, for those that actually are believers, read the Bible. Read the Bible. When the Israelites did some dumb junk, God came, here come a plague. Boom, this happens. Oh, y'all complaining? Y'all not even going to get out of the desert. Y'all just going to be walking around the desert for 45 years, and the trip only took 3 years to get to the promised land. If God did that with the Israelites, what you think he's doing with America? Why this keep happening? Why this? Why that? We're a corrupt country. The love of money is the only thing this country is about. We don't have things fair and equal. The middle class, much as we wanted to break apart from England, we have the same system essentially. it's a class system here, and they make it where they don't really want you to be able to get out of your class system. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's the American dream. There ain't no American dream here. You got your straps halfway up.
Yeah, they got strapped all that shit. Well, the moral of the story is, no matter where you stand from a religious standpoint, from your stand, from a political standpoint, all that stuff, I think we're all in the same place. We don't have the answers. No one has the answers. No one knows what's going to happen. Everyone knows what should happen, but it's not happening. And we all know why it's happening. We all know why things are happening the way they're happening. So, look, man, like it's a very bleak conversation to have, because we can talk about all the solutions you want to talk about, but at the end of the day, we know nothing's changing. What's going to change? What's going to change? I told Ariana today. I was like, the only thing I can think of that might work, maybe, is this old generation dying out. And what's the new? Within the news,
there's no raising the new generation. It's even more crazier than they are.
I'm saying. So what is it? Can you guys honestly say this is a democracy? Can you guys say this is a democracy? The way this thing works. Do you really believe that we live in a democratic society? That's the question that I've had in my mind all day. Through Ariana crying about it, through people crying and all the pain everyone's going through people saying that you can't even recognize the bodies of these 5-year-olds, these 8-year-olds, these 10-year-olds because there's so many bullet holes in them. Yo, all I could think to myself was, do we live in a democratic society? That is the only question that's been on my mind the entire day. And the answer I keep coming up with, no matter how hard I think about it, and I think I'm in my head all damn day, is no. No, we don't.
Because you can literally, and it boils down to back again. You be bought with money in this country, man. So if you being bought with money and other people are controlling and have power, i.e. the NRA,
that's it.
There is no democracy because it's a select group of people that are really running the country.
That's literally it right there. There's a select group of people that are
electoral college,
everything.
Electoral college, all that. Man, lots of popular vote still won the whole thing. Trump. What are we talking about? At the end of the day, how much control do you really have? Even at the grassroots level, y'all go into voting booths. The polling machines are put in closets. You guys are waiting in line for 6 hours. Y'all have work. Y'all on the clock though. Y'all not getting paid. So you guys gotta leave the voting polls, the booths. You guys can't stay and vote. None of this stuff is a mistake, guys. Like, we're playing the same stupid rat race over and over again. It's every single thing. It's the same thing. This is gonna happen again. And all you can pray is that it doesn't happen to someone you care about, because that's the game this is right now. That's really what this is. The same thing. Is that bleak? I'm not a negative person.
No, I think that's why you have a numbness to it too, because you're being realistic in the sense where this has been happening for so long. It's been happening since, as far as we can remember, and what you know is that nothing has ever been done about it, right? It doesn't get any better. We're naive to the fact that when Sandy Hook happened, we thought there was going to be real change, right? But there's just not going to be.
Yeah,
and that's the sad thing. And again, it sucks. It really sucks to hear that, you're numb to the fact of it, right? But I think we all are. I think when we all saw it, we're like, damn, again. And the scary part is we're all gonna have kids. I got a daughter on the way. You got a baby on the way. You have a son that's in school, and we can't protect them when they go to school. And we don't know whether it's going to hit the school that they go to, an area close to home. And I think that's what's wrong with society is people only care when it happens to them or somebody they know. They only care if it's in their area or if it happens to one of their loved ones, and then they want to react, right? But until, I don't even know, but people are going to continue to be numb to the fact unless it happens to them. These lawmakers, what if it happened to one of their kids, right? But their kids are in the best private schools. They don't have to worry about any of that. So
don't be so sure about that. Don't be so
The
sure
thing
about
The thing that's
Nothing should surprise me at this point. That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
the thing. Even when we look at our movie, right? I think at some point the purge is gonna happen in real life. And watching the purge is so realistic in regards. If you've ever seen it in the purges, they go after lawmakers in the purge. They be wanting to kill people that's in government. This is why. Like, this is why.
I mean, we
Days
damn near
like-
started in January last year with the Capitol riots.
And this is exactly why.
Wrong?
No, it's just
Like, come
no,
on,
it's
like,
just it's ironic that they were the ones who were hiding. They're not the ones.
facts.
I don't want to get no crazy conspiracy though. We can do this all day today. They're not the ones. They're not the ones the lawmakers should worry about. They're not the ones getting screwed over by the law. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm more so talking
In a purge scenario he's talking about, I don't think they're the ones riding.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm talking about having the balls to do something in that magnitude.
Sounds about white.
Yeah, man.
It's
I
crazy.
don't know if anyone else got it. I really don't know what else to be said, what could be said. Like I said, the only thing I know to do and can do at this point is just keep praying and pray for our families.
Of your loved ones.
This is all I know for us to do at this point, because it's literally by the grace of God that we're all still here. Literally.
Yeah, facts.
There's plenty of times where we've all seen danger seen and unseen, where we could be in a situation where we're talking about we're not here. It's literally only because of God's grace that our family members, everybody is still here. We all dealt with different things, car accidents, injuries, being an athlete. Like, being an athlete, you see freak accidents, somebody fall a certain way, break their neck, and they're forever in a wheelchair, or they become like, it's by the grace of God, we're not in a situation where we're not talking about, yo, I gotta go marry my child.
Just being black men in general.
Like, by the grace of God. It's times where I know, just because of so much anger pinned up, how I handle stuff with police, I should be dead. Because you know how they teach you to handle things correctly, that you handle it well, be respectful. It's happening so often that I had to like get help and prayer because it was raging and built up in me. So I saw a cop, they pulled me over on sight. I'm yelling, I'm arguing, bro, Tone should be dead. There would be no bench mob. Tone should be dead. But by the grace of God. It's the last days we're living in. The only thing you can do is literally pray God keeps you, pray God covers you, gives you direction of what to do, where to go, and trust me, even if you don't believe me, there are plenty of people that before us being on this earth, that can attest God will talk to you. God will tell you, like, all right, you should stay home today. You may not know why. You may not, I just decided to stay home, and you find out. Sometimes we don't find out while we are protected from what we're protected from. But it's those times where I literally think we're given the access to be like, yo, the route you normally take, there was a 5-car accident, 2 people died. But you ain't take that route that day. What do you think that was?
That ain't a coincidence. Say that.
Sometimes they say sometimes rejection is God's protection. I heard that. So that's a word. It's true.
So
I know we're not talking about rejection directly, but in a way, sometimes you don't get that job. Sometimes you don't get that opportunity. Sometimes you don't get that thing you want so bad your whole
I
life.
don't know why.
And you don't know why until later. And it's like, well, the company went under. Wow, the CEOs. Let me not make like just crazy stuff. You know, like you just find out. So, I don't know. It's yeah. Stay prayed up for real. There's no other answer. There's no other answer. I don't even know what else you could possibly think the answer is, but you stay prayed up and stay safe. Take the extra precautionary measures. Don't take a moment for granted because it's a crazy world we live in.
I mean, we can't even close out the show normally. Like we would close it out like, yo, stay ready. You got That's not this type of episode that we do that on. I would just literally like have to close it out on life is precious, man. Life is precious. You never know your last breath. You never know the last time you see somebody. The anger, the unforgiveness, the grudges you hold in, let it go. Let it go. Forgive that person. Show love to that person. Call that family member that you haven't talked to. Life is really short. You never know when your last breath is. Like every time you wake up, keep it in mind. There's somebody in this world that did not wake up. We got plenty of stuff that we could try to complain about. And I don't have this. I'm not a millionaire. This is not happening. I don't have followers on Instagram. Bruh, somebody's not breathing. Somebody's not able to walk. You complaining that you don't have the best food. Somebody's not even able to taste the food that they're eating. Like little stuff like that. People don't have all their senses. Some people can't hear. Some people can't see. Some people can't smell. Don't take anything, any relationships, any friendships. Don't take anything for granted, man. Appreciate everything that you have. Talk to those people. Get the help you need. If you need mental health, get the help you need. While you're still here, man. And especially for those that don't believe there's an afterlife, really do value every day. I know me, I'm not from here. It's not my whole video. It's not YOLO for me. I live it here, so I'm living with something else. But for those that don't, enjoy every day here. And if you get a chance, I know this is not the typical show. We don't really preach that. We don't do that on the show. But if you don't, get to know God, bro. So you can live after this. Once you leave it, you can live after this. That's what we looking for anyway. You talk about after this, a better place where we ain't got to worry about this. Even if you don't believe in God, bro, just think about that. There's a place that we believe called heaven where there is no mass shootings. There is no racism. No more tears. Think about it, bro. Peace. Bench Mob, love y'all.